everyone, and welcome back to Barnstable This Morning. I'm Sarah Colvin, and joining me live on the phone, I welcome Marina Manager Eric Shufelt. Eric, good morning.
Good morning, Sarah. How are you today?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
I'm well, thanks.
So an interesting exercise took place yesterday, Eric, in Barnstable Harbor. Tell me a little bit about the exercise, and I know you wanted to start with a little bit of a history behind it.
Yeah. A little bit of the history of what ultimately ended up with us doing yesterday. A number of years ago, I want to say it was probably probably 10 years ago or so, there was a very large oil spill in Buzzards Bay area, and it was the Bouchard oil spill, which obviously was devastating to that area with, I want to say 90,000 gallons of oil being dumped into the water, and ultimately ended up on the beaches and in the waterways. So what had happened from that oil spill is the state mandated, I believe, the Department of Environmental Protection into coming up with a program to help if something like this happened again. How do we prepare for that? And so what they've done is they started with this whole program with the Geographical Response Program plan. And this is a statewide plan, and what it does is it identifies, right now I believe they have 83 sites of concern around the state that would be critical, whether it was a commercial area or heavy in environmental concerns, a whole number of criteria. And they identified 83 general areas around the state. And so what they did is they started planning on how do we protect these areas if there is a large-scale spill again in the future. And I believe a lot of the funding may have come from the company that the oil spill started from because of the lawsuits and all that good stuff. But that's out of my concern, not my concern.
Indeed.
Yeah. And so what they did is they started looking at these areas of concern, and they also, in part of this, needed equipment to help fight these if there was an oil spill. So all of a lot of the communities received gear, oil spill equipment by way of in a trailer unit. And I know the town of Barnstable has one. There's a number of those oil spill trailers around the Cape and throughout the Commonwealth on the shore and other places. And those trailers could be used for major oil spill or even minors, but they're out there. DEP takes care of those, and it's great because we have that ability to have equipment on site. So ultimately, we come to what the one of the 83 spots was Barnstable Harbor.
Okay.
We also have two others in town: Hyannis Harbor, Inner Harbor area, and then there's one over in the Three Bay area. So there are three in the town of Barnstable that have been areas of concern that we have identified. Not that anywhere else is not a concern, but these have been really identified. So what we did yesterday is we had an exercise to see how this GRP, Geographical Response Plan, will work on the water, not just on paper. So what we did is there were participants in this exercise yesterday were the Barnstable Fire Department, West Barnstable Fire, COMM Fire Department, the Barnstable Harbormaster's Department, Department of Environmental Protection, Coast Guard. We had the Assistant DPW Director down there, a company called Marina Environmental Recovery, who are contractors for DEP, and then the group that put all this together, a contractor, NUCA Research and Planning Group. And what we did is had a whole program for the day, and actually this started way back in April, starting to plan all this. If there was a major spill in Cape Cod Bay, how would we do this? So yesterday's program for the geographical response was the Barnstable Harbor area site. So what we did is we had a meeting first thing in the morning. We got everyone together, so we had a sit down up at the county complex, and went through all of the expectations of what we were going to do, how we were going to set it up, who was in charge, the whole 9 yards. That started first thing in the morning, early yesterday. We went down to the Blish Point site where we were staging the GRP, and went through the trailer with all the gear in that, and went through and saw what gear we had there. Oil booms, pads, all kinds of equipment that is needed to help fight or at least to get the first response out for an oil spill to help protect an area. And then went through all the safety concerns, operational communications, and then we deployed oil boom, went out with boats, put the oil boom out, saw where it was working well, saw some things that may need to be worked on a little bit better, and had a discussion on that, and then basically tore everything down, demobilized, cleaned all the stuff, put it all back away, and then had another sit down, talked about what went well, what can work better, and everyone felt that this one went very well. We had a great communications. There are some things putting the boom out that didn't work as well as we thought, but we were able to work with that and ad lib as we went to make it so it would work. And then we're going to, in the future, we'll sit down and probably change that GRP a little bit, just so that what's on paper is more real-world feeling.
So really, Eric, a lot of facets to yesterday's exercise, as you say, really taking it off of the paper plan and really putting it into action as though an oil spill was actually happening, and really everything from the deployment of equipment to how you communicate between all of the agencies involved in cleanup.
That's correct, yeah. Just a real-world feel on the water, with how it's going to work. Yeah, very.
Exactly. So is this the first time, Eric, that you've done an exercise or participated in an exercise of this scale pertaining to a potential oil spill in Barnstable Harbor?
In Barnstable Harbor, yes. A number of years ago, I want to say 3 years ago, maybe it was a little bit longer, in that range anyway, we did one in Hyannis Harbor in association with the Hyannis Fire Department, Coast Guard, DEP, NUCA, the whole group. And we did the same type thing, large-scale boom deployment, working with the gear going through the trailer, but we did another one there. We were also looking to do one, we were talking with the fire chiefs, doing one in the 3 Bay area in the next year or two. And we're hoping to be able to get something in that just so that we're all comfortable with the area.
Indeed, and so I would assume, Eric, that after going through this exercise, you really do feel confident that that all the agencies involved are ready should there be something that would happen in Barnstable Harbor.
Well, yes, yeah, it's a much more comfortable feeling for sure, knowing that we have the backup of all of the agencies, whether it's federal, state, and our local groups working together. It works really well. Everyone seems to be on the same page, and we understand what our role is in this if there is something large scale that does happen.
Sure. Was there anything, Eric, that you took away that said, okay, we need to work on this, or we could have done this better?
I think what my thought coming out of this is that whatever is on paper isn't always what's going to work. Because anytime you're dealing with working on the water, you've got currents, you've got wind, you've got weather. I mean, yesterday's weather, we weren't sure if we were going to be in downpours or going to have a nice sunny day. So I think the idea was that what's on paper is good, but we need to know that we can ad lib or make sure that if we need to change or innovate that plan a little bit to make it work better. I think that's the good part. I think everything went very well yesterday, and that showed that we could innovate in the middle of doing this, and not just do what some architect put this on the piece of paper and this is what has to go.
Indeed, it's good to have a plan, but it's also good to know that you can deviate from that plan should the situation call for it.
Yep.
Great, Eric. Anything else about yesterday's exercise that you'd like to get out there to our viewers?
No, I just want to thank all the participating groups, certainly our fire departments and our gang here at the Harbor Master's office. Everyone worked great together. I think it was an excellent group, and the DEP was very good with everything. Yeah, everyone worked well together, and I think it was a plus for the town of Barnstable.
Fantastic. Well, Eric, thank you so much for joining us today on the show. Thanks for telling us all about yesterday, and we'll talk with you again sometime soon. Have a great day.
Very good, sir. Thank you.
Thanks much.
Bye now.
Bye-bye. Eric Shufelt, the Assistant Harbormaster, Marina Manager